So, good afternoon, a few minutes before afternoon. So, very glad to be here. My name is Guillaume de Pomereau. I am the CFO of Hitachi Europe, which is a head office of this Japanese conglomerate that you may have heard about in the past. Hitachi was known for some electronics goods in the past, but now it's mainly focusing on very heavy infrastructure or products and technology. Let me see how this works. I mean, I think I'm also conscious I'm the last obstacle between you and lunch, and so I'll try to go fast through my slides, but the main driver of my presentation was to show the difficulty of a conglomerate like ours when there is so many legal entities and various processes and standards in one single group, and how we can try to make it more efficient. So it's very much driven around operational finance, I would say. And I have nothing to sell today. It's really about sharing. Okay. So just a quick look at the story of Hitachi, a very old company, more than 100 years old, originated in Japan. There's lots of still very old conservative approach in the business, I would say. In terms of segments, there is nobody knows exactly how many segments we operate in, but they have been summarized into this circle. So we go from IT, so on the top right, we call it Hitachi Data System, which has been renamed Hitachi Vantara. And some of you may have some storage from Hitachi Vantara. We do trains, we do medical magnetic resonance images, MRI. We do cranes, so construction machinery. We do some special metals, and as you can see, I mean, it's a lot of different businesses that don't have necessarily some synergies between them, that are always focusing on some kind of technology that are very physical in nature, hard stuff, I would say, and the challenge being now as well to cope with the digitalization of the economy, and so to see how all of these businesses can also develop into additional services. In terms of global expansion, we are a little everywhere, I would say. We have 300,000 employees across the world, so that's one of the most important groups in the world. So, of course, Japan is the biggest. It's about 50% of the revenue. You can see Europe on the top left with 960 billion yen of revenue. I said that we have a lot of legal entities. It's about 139 million, and we have around 16,000 employees. I talked briefly about digitization. It's really about the survival of the company to move from a pure industry base to value-added services around IT. And so the challenge of the group as well is to transform itself, where you had lots of independent business units, completely independent, and on top of that you have Hitachi Vantara Data System, which has a layer of software and IT exposure, and the real challenge is to evolve into the Internet of Things, and that's where we are investing most of our capex these days. In terms of size, financial size, this is all in yen, but to transfer yen into dollars, it's very easy. You drop the last two digits because it's about 100 yen for a dollar. And then you convert into pounds. So at the group level, we have almost 10 trillion yen. So that's about $100 billion of revenue across the world. It's more or less flat year after year. Of course, a group of this size, it's not experiencing a 20% revenue increase every year. But our challenge is to increase the profitability, and when we compare ourselves to other large conglomerates like Siemens or General Electric, we are usually far less profitable for various reasons, but we are trying to tackle these. I will drop that one because it's not necessarily the most important. The other challenge we try to cope our place in society, I would say. So we call our strategy to improve social innovation. Social innovation is very wide as a definition, and I think lots of companies understand it differently. But for us, it's all about the products that will be used by people every day. If we make a train, we consider it as a social product because people are in the train and use it. So we have different initiatives around Society 5.0, which is still a bit unclear what it means. Industry 4.0, which is more about customization of products. Rather than having a batch of 100,000 products, you would do much less, but at your bespoke requirements. And of course, there is sustainable goals of the UN, where we interfere positively in many of them. We have a BU, for instance, that does water treatment, which is one of the UN goals to improve the quality of water across the world, things like that. So that's a bigger picture of Hitachi. Now, what do we do in Europe? In Europe, we are about $10 billion, so 900 billion yen. Revenue, 39 legal entities, about 16,000 employees. So we do have a plant in cranes, construction machinery. We have this picture here is about finger vein. So it's not about print, digital prints. It's about finger vein. So it takes a picture of your finger, and it's much more difficult to fraud it because it's inside your finger. So you cannot copy, like a James Bond film. Sometimes you see people cutting, having a tape that replicates your fingerprints. In a finger vein, this is impossible. And so this device is used by banks now across Eastern Europe. And we are starting to do it with Barclays now. This depot with the train on the left side is in Ashford. We operate the train between St. Pancras and Ashford. It is not the train that goes under the tunnel. It stops at Ashford. But we have now some new lines that will be delivered in the coming 3 years between London and Glasgow and London and Swansea. And we are also one of the bidders for the high-speed 2 line and several tube lines in London. Lots of car components. And Hitachi Medical on the top, bottom left is also operating in Europe. So as you can see, incredibly diverse, no really common parts between each of them. Every business very independent. On the map, it gives this kind of a very diverse picture as well. So these are the headquarters in Europe. So a big bunch of our headquarters are in the UK, and Hitachi saw the UK as a point of entry for Europe. It's true that the Brexit decision is going to re-challenge this perspective. We have a strong presence in Germany and in Italy. We have medical in Switzerland. So in Italy, we've recently acquired the train manufacturer of Italy, which is under the weather. And so Italy is now becoming one of our, almost as big as the UK for us. In terms of manufacturing sites, in Newton-on-Cliff, in the north of England, we manufacture trains. In the Netherlands, we do a lot of assembly for construction machinery, and we have all these various plants across the region. We also have several research and development sites. In the UK, you have the highest number. One is, the center of ERD, what we call ERD, which is European Research and Development, is in London. But you have some presence in Cambridge, working on quantum computing, and in Manchester, also in France and in Germany, in Copenhagen. So just an overview of our businesses, incredibly diverse, covers a large spectrum of activities, and as I said, all very independent. So what does it do for us in finance with all these companies? something that you could say quite ugly, because we have about 27 Hitachi group companies. I mean, all the 12 business units have also been subsidized into 27 groups, hundreds of legal entities, and a few shared services that have been developed over time after acquisitions or reorganizations. So we have some based on Oracle, some based on SAP, and some operating companies who don't use the shared service and have their own system. So in terms of ERP applications used in Europe, you have here the number of users on the right. So the top winner, I would say, is very local. So about 4,000 users don't have any ERP in this list. The SAP is the next one. Oracle is quite strong, and we have Sage, we have Microsoft Dynamics as well, stuff like that. So incredibly diverse. So what can we do in terms of making it more efficient, more standardized? The dream, of course, is to have one unique ERP for the group. That's everybody's dream. But I personally think it could be eventually done over time in the future. But if you take the situation as it is today, I don't think it is possible. Realistically, all ERP do the job. I mean, if you're on Oracle, it does the job. If you're on SAP, it does the job as well. If you want to move Oracle on SAP, then it will cost years, millions, and thousands of hours, and be a big risk for the business. So I don't believe we can change all the ERPs at once, and I don't think it's worthwhile. We also have the difficulty that Hitachi has a portfolio of activities that is in constant evolution. We sell businesses, we buy businesses, and if you buy something that is not on your core ERP, then you have a new iteration of a new ERP, and you're not going to change the ERP when you make an acquisition. This is crazy. So what can you do in this case? I mean, there is not an obvious solution, but I decided when I joined 4 years ago to really focus on a limited number of things. And this is about making our shared service more efficient. My ideas were to split my work between two large ideas. I mean, transactional business should be more automated, independently from the ERP. And on the other side, I try to build in our shared service more value-added services. And value-added services are around internal audit, or let's say finance consultants, and tax. Because 4 years ago, every single 140 legal entities was asking either KPMG or Deloitte or PwC or EY to help them for very basic things. And as you can imagine, very expensively. So we are, on one side, improving automation, on the other, building a core competence inside the shared service around consulting and finance consulting, including internal audit, internal control, what we call GSOX, Japan SOX, Sabanzotse. And in tax, we focus on 3 taxes: value-added tax, corporate income tax, and transfer prices. And in each of these, this pie, I would say, you can see the various subdivision of our efforts. In terms of pure transaction, for travel expense we use Concur. For P2P automation we've used a system called IT eSoft, which is a combination of optical character recognition and a workflow. In terms of credit and collection, we still use some internal tools, but we are going to migrate to something more off the shelf. In terms of FP&A, we didn't have any reporting tool. Every business was using an ERP, so we have decided to deploy BPC, which is an element of SAP, and that makes it's a classic financial database like TM1 from Cognos IBM or Hyperion, and BPC is the equivalent from SAP. In terms of months and close, we've deployed a tool called Cadency. Cadency does use an online tool on a cloud-based system to do month-end reconciliation. I don't know if you do month-end reconciliations every month or every quarter, but this is for me the most painful activity in accounting. When I joined, I used to have tens of binders with scans of copies of the reconciliation, the bank statements, and all the like of it. It's now all migrated online with Hitachi, which gives me also a dashboard that says which company is on time, which one is late, how many accounts are still open, and stuff like that. And then the value-added services, it's about tax, as I said, and internal audit. So we do what we call GSOX, is Japanese Sarbanzansei. But we also do some advisory work in terms of, for instance, how do you implement IFRS 15 in 140 legal entities, and other advisory work. So, in terms of financial service, I see myself 4 years ago as leading a team that was very manual, low-value services, just only accounting, and in a way, few customers. And what I call customers are the internal companies, because it could be seen as a surprise, but within the Japanese culture, the shared service is not mandatory. I don't have authority to impose my systems to every 140 legal entities in Europe. So they only come to us if they see the benefits. It's difficult for us, but it also has its benefits because it means that the shared service has to be high quality. If they're not happy with our service, they will go to a local firm, an accounting firm, or they will recruit themselves. And so my goal is really to evolve, and I think we've achieved in the last 4 years a strong improvement, and we have automated more processes, delivered higher value services, and as a result, our number of companies that are using our shared service has jumped up. In terms of innovation and all the systems, I talked about P2P automation. We use a system called ITsoft. It's a French company that does optical character recognition and linked to a workflow. And the goal is that a supplier invoice arrives digitally in an email address. This is picked up by the software, and this is posted into SAP automatically. If you have your PO number and your PO with the same data and your receipt note, and if it matches invoice, nobody touches it. So it's flawless, it's very efficient. And our staff then only deal with exceptions. Concur and Visa. Concur is for travel and expense management. Concur is now a company of SAP. It's well integrated into SAP. I'm not here to do advertising, by the way, but I must say we are pleased with how it works, and we've linked it with a Visa card that is automatically populated into Concur through a monthly IT feed. Actually, it's daily feeds. Credit risk, we have an internal solution that does all the reminders, all the cash allocation, and all this. And Cadence I talked about, and BPC as well. So it's really, my challenge is really about developing a platform which is independent from ERP. And my focus is on this green box for operational finance. And if most of the 140 legal entities in Europe adopt this process, we will make huge efficiency gain without changing the ERP that nobody wants to change. So I think this is the only way we found to really improve the efficiency of the business. This is a little graph to show you the path to automation. I started on the bottom left, and then we step by step improved our automation. So we started with Concur, then Cadence, then BPC, then ITsoft. I mentioned PwC here because we have purchased a license for their software, but we operate it ourselves. But we now generate several hundreds of VAT returns every month internally. Credit tool, we have our internal solution that we will change. The next steps I'm looking at is really about how to leverage data analytics and RPA. So let's look at the future. I see the shared service as, the old school way to look at the shared service is really about one location in a low-cost country. And there is this kind of strategy within Hitachi where we are using TCS, Tata Consulting Services, in India to help. But there is a lot of limitation to this approach. First of all, in India, they speak English, but they don't speak the other languages of Europe. So if you want to have support in Italian, French, or German, or other, it's very difficult. But also it's far away from the business. And in my strategy of increasing the value-added services of the shared service, if the people are in the other side of the world, they cannot be close to the business, they don't know the people, they don't provide the necessary proximity that I think is absolutely key when you do some financial work. And so the idea now is to develop this shared service, which is a virtual network. So we are today based on 6 locations, but we all use the same system, and we all train our staff on the same tools, and we discuss all together regularly. And so there is a feel of cohesion and the efficiency thanks to standardization, but maintaining the proximity to the business with all these plants and teams that are spread out across Europe. So multiple location in a virtual network, standard systems, high-value services, including consulting and tax, proximity to customers, same language as the business. This is for me very important if you want to have people interested by the activity, interested by the challenge, but also in terms of internal control. I mean, some of the control done in India, in English, for a German guy based in Düsseldorf, it's very difficult to make it work efficiently. And so far, the strategy works well because we onboard more and more Hitachi companies every month. So that's how we are spread out. We have 6 locations, UK, Germany, Italy, France, Spain, and Greece. And we have 4 branches in Denmark, South Africa, Poland, and Turkey. Although the shared service is really present in these first 6, and we have a small team in South Africa and a couple of people in Poland and Turkey. What about robotic process automation? I mean, in the title of this presentation I put about RPA. We have done a 6-month analysis of our processes in the shared service and tried to see how we could leverage RPA. I think the first thing to look at is chronology. Chronology means, for me, that you cannot do RPA before you've done some housekeeping before. For me, RPA is a further step compared to automation, and automation has been around for decades. So for me, it's about digitization of the processes. You can put in place some optical character recognition, some workflows. This is not RPA, this is basic, very available, standard stuff. So first of all, you need to automate and integrate most of your systems. Move away from manual work and have systems that talk to each other. Then only you can consider RPA. The second challenge I had is I really wanted to put in place some RPA, but I was thinking, what does it mean? What does it mean compared to what I have today? And how does it really improve my processes? So first of all, you need to have processes that are fully digitalized and rule-based. And I compare a robot today as a script in a way. It's like Visual Basic in Excel, but applied to a much wider perimeter. So for me, RPA, unless someone in the room tells me I'm wrong, is about running a script for a process that is very well defined, that is completely digitalized, and that script could take some data from SAP, from Excel, from elsewhere, put it together, make a rule, what if, etc., and then have an outcome. And it could be applied on systems that are spread across the region. It can be picking up some data from Italy and merge it with some data from Germany, and eventually speed up something. But it cannot run down the corridor, it cannot call, it cannot speak. So it's really about a script in my view. It cannot make a subjective decision. It has to be very objective. It has to be very rule-based. So within that context, a robot can help. The companies we talk to for an RPA process is that a robot would cost around 10K a year for the license fee. And you have to spend about 10K to develop the rules. So you take a process, have an expert doing the script elaboration, and then that costs you 10K. If you apply a robot to a bad process, it will remain a bad process. It will go faster, but it will be still crap. So fix your processes before you put an RPA in place. And there is a matter of critical size. I think a robot is worth it if it addresses a process that today is performed by 5, 10 or more people. My issue is that most of my processes, with a context of several tens of legal entities, is that in fact Hitachi in Europe is a collection of small boutiques, and each finance team for each legal entity is 5 to 10 people. Only the shared service has, we are now 62 headcount, but spread across 30 legal entities. So each of our staff, I mean, I don't have one process with 5 to 10 people doing exactly the same thing. So for the moment, we've not managed to get worth the investment for our shared service after 6 months of analysis. But we are still confident that if we continue to standardize our processes over time, we will have that critical mass. That's it. Thank you very much. I hope it was helpful. And let me know if you have any questions.
How much money have you saved on a yearly basis, implementing all these ERPs, all those nice transformation from the manual processes to robotization of this process? How much money?
Yeah.
If you can say.
Well, it's a good question with a difficult answer because some of our savings are not showing up in our P&L, but they are showing up in the other people's P&L. So we've not managed to do a very robust, exact, accurate analysis. But we believe that when we onboard a company that was on its own, with its own small team of less than 20 people doing manual things on their own board, and we managed to streamline our processes, we usually consider that we would reduce our cost of operation by about 30%. If they ask a real detailed analysis, we can do it after a couple of years of operation. But that's a goal, to be about 30% below what they used to spend. I have another metric in mind is the cost of finance. I mean, I am constantly challenged in Hitachi by the cost of finance. And of course, everybody says, you charge me too much, you are too expensive, and so on. And this is a very toxic discussion because if you, I mean, the group is old, and if you do, okay, it's too expensive, and every year you drop your price by 5%, what is left at the end? And so where do we draw the line between I am expensive or I am at the right price? And there is not a real sophistication within the group to understand that threshold. In my view, it's between 1 and 1.3% of revenue. There is an analysis from PwC last year where they analyzed the cost of finance for more than 150 companies, and they completely back up this number. It also depends how many countries you address, how the complexity of your business, how many people, and so on. If you are big and one industry, of course your cost comparatively, proportionately is lower. If you are average size, address 10 different countries, 10 different languages, 10 different legal systems and stuff like that, you know you will have more people in the admin teams. So for me, 1% is very good. 1.5 starts to be expensive. 2% would be too much. And everyone we on board, we guarantee that we will be below the sort of 1.3, depending on how big they are. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it's. I was impressed on how many processes, how many companies, how many systems you have to manage, and somehow to be able to in one slide to explain all this. I was actually impressed.
But maybe that's a question I'd like to ask to the audience: is this benchmark what you have in your companies? Something between 1 and 1.5% of revenue for your finance costs? Would you be above? Would you be below? Below?
Smaller groups, smaller
So that seems about right for the rest of the audience. Okay.
I mean, if I take the 1% to the value you put on the terms of revenue, it's quite a large amount. Relatively, you said 1%, relative to what actually your annual earning, that's quite a lot.
But lots of companies have SG&A, sales, general, and admin cost of about 10%. So if you break it down between IT, HR, finance, and so on, I mean, my own perception of these ratios are finance 1 to 1.5, HR around 0.5, and IT more around the 3.5. Depends on the business, of course. And then you have sales that are much more dependent on the activity. But if you do HR at 0.5 point, finance at 1.5, that's 2%. Then you add 3 for IT, that's about 5. You don't have that many businesses across the world that do a G&A below 5. So
yeah, don't get me wrong. When I say this twice, I mean obviously, I mean because of the size of your company, it is justifiable. I mean, as long as it's justifiable, that's fine.
yeah.
But in terms of just generic, I'm talking not the percentage as much as the quantity coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt this is a big number. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for the feedback. Thank you very much. I think we are now time for lunch, so...
No, not really. We have a change in plan.
Okay.
So lunch is going to be at 1 o'clock. Between now and 1 o'clock is going to be me going to do a short presentation and all that stuff. But thank you so much. Yeah. It's going to be a short presentation. It's going to be about the transition